second oldest operating racetrack in the world, back in the day, used to host the round after the Indianapolis 500, and it's a big change for drivers. After going 235 miles an hour into turn number one at Indy, here things are a little more subdued, but the drivers have to work just as hard as they do on this 1 mile racetrack compared to what they have to do on a super speedway. Welcome to Wisconsin, welcome to the Milwaukee Mile, and welcome to the Classic IndyCar Series, round number 6 here on RaceSpot TV, streaming live on iRacing Live. Well, Vincent, along with Jack Stiles as ever, it's literally an oval at this racetrack. You got turns banked at 9.25 degrees worth of banking, straights. They're banked at 2.5 degrees. It's got a very difficult pit entry here. We'll talk about that one in a bit. Track conditions, 76 degrees Fahrenheit, 56% race relative humidity. It's cloudy, and there's a wind speed of about 6 miles an hour. Now, this track actually once upon a time was a dirt track. It was paved over, well, quite a while ago now. But what it is still a track that a lot of people's got fond memories of, Jack, even though it hasn't really hosted any major sporting event since the 2015 IndyCar season.
Yeah, Milwaukee is one of the circuits which is big in American racing history, and it's because it's so simple. It's just 1 mile and 2 corners, and in these Indy cars where you've got so much power, that could be difficult, especially if you're running in draft. Aero push might come into play a little bit. Just a couple of drivers now finishing off of their qualifying times to get ready to go racing. 225 laps, which means we are having a 225 mile race here for your enjoyment today, and these guys have put up a sterling job all season long. Although, Will, one name that is missing today is Michele Constantini.
Yeah, indeed. So apparently he's packed his bags and he decided he's had enough with sim racing. We think he's found himself someone to settle down with, or you never know, we might see him on a real racetrack before you know it. Now, we say it's 1 mile in length, Jack. A little bit of trivia here. It's disputed. In terms of NASCAR, yep, they'll say it's 1 mile. IndyCar, the Indy Racing League, they called it 1.015 miles, and CART, they called it 1.032 miles. Apparently, you can measure a track 3 different ways.
It's all about which line you take, Will, and every decimal place counts. And if you, obviously everyone's going to say everywhere is going to be a different distance. You can measure a track 1,600 times and you probably get 1,600 different answers. So everyone's going to do it slightly differently, but it will go with the official one. We'll say it's 1 mile. Yeah,
indeed. So we are just going to say thank you very quickly to a couple of people. Iswan Balau, TrackCams22.com, Andres Warner, the official graphics partner of RaceSpot TV, and also to Simon Grossman at Engineering.com, Nick Thisson for RaceSpot TV, live timing and scoring. Qualifications, as we said, are underway right now, and it is Matt Cook, the Cook machine, who is leading right now in that number 46 Aero X racing machine. Randy Shoemaker in second place, Randy Crosland in third, Andrew Aitken in fourth, Johnny Garrett in the 5th place. No real surprise in terms of qualifying here.
Now, it's the usual names we see up at the front. A lot of big names in IndyCar racing on iRacing. Robert Grosser, one of the names he's 3-time champion in this series. He is down in 9th at the moment, Will. So he's obviously not having a great car. Henry Bennett down in P, number 18, and that's not where you want to see the championship leader.
Yeah, but I'll tell you one thing. This is a track that you either get or you don't. I remember back in 2011, I tried for a weekend to do somewhere in the region of about 3,000 laps here, Jack, and I still couldn't get it right. And it's one of those, a bit like Indy, a bit like certain road courses. If you don't get it, you don't get it.
Yeah, I think everyone has their favourite tracks and everyone has their tracks that they absolutely hate. I have my own, and for some drivers here today it might be Milwaukee Mile, and obviously not as big as grid as we have seen so far this season, only 27 cars. Mind you, that is a lot of cars for a track only a mile long, but as you said, Will, some people just cannot get their heads around some tracks, and I wonder whether Henry Bennett is struggling here this weekend.
Yeah, in terms of your championship standings, here we are. Henry Bennett does lead the way then. He's got a huge gap if we're going to say goodbye to Michele Constantini to Marshall Stanley of 78 points. Hans Pitkanen in 4th, Austin Espartee in 5th, then Matt Cook 6th, Robert Grosser, Carson Bodway David Sistello and Jos van der Ven round out your top 10, as there's P number 11 through 20 up on your screens as it stands right now. So, qualifying will be over in about 10 seconds time, and that means we can get ourselves a look at your starting grid for what will be round number 6 of the championship. And in 2 weeks' time, we're going to go to this track. So here we are then at Milwaukee Mile, but in a couple of weeks' time, we will be heading ourselves over to Belle Isle in Detroit. One of the first series you'll see at Belle Isle. You can catch it here on Racing.tv and on iRacing Live. Let's have a look then at your starting grid for this round number 6 of the championship. Let's go. Matt Cook, 165.8 miles an hour around this 1 mile racetrack. That's 21.712 seconds if you want it in time. Randy Shoemake in second place, alongside him, front row of the grid. Then, row number 2, Randy Crosno and Andrew Aitken. Third row of the grid, we'll see Johnny Garrett and Mike Gerlicher, with row number 4 being Matt Molnar and Hans Pitkanen. Row number 5, Robert Grosser and Sasha Lamp, with Dave Sistello and Andrew Adair Saunders on row number 6. Jack Turner and Jos van der Ven in row 7. Row 8, Adam Shipstone and Timo Isinyemi. Row number 9, Carson Bodaway and Henry Bennett. And then row 10, Lucas Aville, Andrew Wood. Rest of qualifying times coming up on your screen right now as the pace car pulls off there, Jack.
Yeah, everyone looking like they're going strong. It's going to be, I believe, is it 2 lap pace laps here? One lap. So it is literally, these guys have 1 mile to get themselves buckled in, get the belts tight, and get ready to go racing. So Matt Cook, he is going to have control of the whole field, and hopefully we won't see a repeat of what we've seen, or what we saw at Homestead, Miami, in round number 1, where we saw the front grid basically just go into the wall on the first lap.
Yeah, Matt Cook then will bring the field around on this pace lap. We are getting ourselves ready to go racing for the 6th round of the championship here on Racesport TV. Live timing and scoring will be available once the race commences. Visit racesport.tv/live for that one. Slightly different to what we normally have. Pace car is going to work itself out of corner number 4. We are set then to go racing here at the Milwaukee Mile. Pace car going to come on towards pit road, and we are going to go racing. Oh, trouble already. We've got a caution. Big crash through turn number 1, and we've got about 4 drivers involved. Noah McBride, Johnny Garrett involved in that, Mike Gerlicher involved as well, Jack.
Yeah, it looks as though Mike Gerlicher just cut up that number 68 driver of Johnny Garrett, and those who went spinning off into the wall. There was drivers behind. They were 4 wide into turn 1. Those drivers had nowhere to go, and in fact, actually, there was 2 separate incidents in that one. Will Sasha Lamp was the second one which was involved. I'll go and find out what happened to him. Looks like he had a tangling with the car ahead of him trying to slow down, and that was Robert Grosser.
Yep, so Robert Grosser, we'll have a look at that one next. Here we are, first of all, onboard Gerlicher. There's the first incident, and then you see the second one happening as well. We'll turn our attentions then over to Robert Grosser now. We'll show you what happened to him as he came towards the start-finish line. Well, that was the angle from Robert Grosser as we go back to have a look at live pictures. So Matt Cook then will pick up the pace car as we're on lap number 3 of 225. Probably a good point to mention this one, Jack, that of course this could well become a timed race, and that makes it very difficult for the strategy guys to try and get this call right. Because if it is going to be a timed race, then a lot of people are going to have to do a lot of thinking here today.
Yeah, this is very important. The time limit on this race is 2 hours long. It has gone into the time limit at points this season so far, and it is important for strategy as well. For now, I think the drivers need to be strategizing themselves to do 225 miles. If it does turn into the fact that we do hit the 2-hour mark, even if we do 224 laps instead, that could throw the strategy off, because some people might not get the fuel spot on, as we see a car just slowing down onto pit lane, looking like he's crabbing and got quite a lot of damage. That is going to be your car of Jos van der Ven in the 167 machine for 4X Racing. Obviously one of the drivers caught up in that lap 1 incident, but strategy is going to be heavily important here, and if we have as many cautions as we have seen in the past, that is going to lay into the hands of people who can get it right, like Stefan Wilson nearly did in the Indy 500 last week.
Yeah, of course, he was only a couple of laps away from potential immortality. In terms of who's pitted so far then, they include a couple of drivers towards the rear of your field. Our timing scoring just messed up a little bit, but Cook leads right now from Shoemake. And then Randy Crosland in third, Andrew Aitken fourth, Matt Molnar, Hans Pickenen, David Costello, Adam Shipstone. They are your top 8. One thing that's worth noting is that the restart zone is very small here at the Milwaukee Mile. The pace car literally will pull in, and then the green flag will come out immediately. It's a bit like what you see at Pocono. But here, the pace car, unfortunately, we're going to go on board right now with Matt Cook, and you'll just notice as the pace car is going to come and go past the start-finish line. We just saw the pit road then. It's literally just a gap in the wall.
Yeah, it is quite literally a gap in the wall here. The yellow line that you have to be across as lights off on the pace car, so we will be going green next time by. But this pit entry is going to be very difficult, especially if you're coming off the corner at 250 kilometers an hour. You've got to slow that car down to pit road speeds and of 72 kilometers an hour just to get that car slowed down in that length of time is going to be extremely difficult, and hope the drivers behind you, if they aren't following you into the pits, can see that you are slowing down.
72 kilometers an hour makes absolutely no sense to me. I'm sorry. I'm a miles an hour guy. Always will be.
No, I'm very sorry.
Yes, but drivers now just going to head themselves through corner number 4. So lights are out on the pace car. Everyone, of course, running the ultra-high line, because you cannot pass on the inside, but you can on the outside when you come to a restart. So 5 laps in the books then here in Wisconsin. Pace car going to dart on towards pit road. We say it's last minute. It's now. Green flag in the air. Cook slow there to respond. Everyone's going to bunch up behind him. Through turn number 1. Are we going to be okay? Yes, we are, but we've got a lot of stacked up drivers then down in your mid-pack. As we got yellow again, we just saw a car. That is Mike Gerlicher then. We heard news that he was going to be really good this weekend, but Mike Gerlicher actually has an issue on the restart. Number 31 machine. Tries to do a bit of a Rossi there, going on the outside of people from turn 1. Back end steps out on him. Spins it around. He doesn't hit anything. Just a little bit of broken pride for him there.
Yeah, another caution, and he was caught up in that incident on turn number 1. And he's been caught up in another incident, causing a second caution of the race so far. So back down to the pace car speed, and these drivers have got another 4 or 5 laps of sitting behind the pace car just to get themselves composed. This will help these drivers, some of them as well, because it just means that some of the frustration and the adrenaline from the start as well can just get flushed out of the body a little bit, and they can just get themselves calmed down and settled in for the rest of the race.
Well, you say that, but actually the fact that they've not done more than 3 corners, a lot of people are already starting to get a little bit tetchy right now because they want to try and make moves. And of course, every time you do a restart, you do a heat cycle on your tires. So they're going to become less responsive potentially, as we are now on lap number 8 of 225. We're going to put that ticker running along the top of your screen when we go back to green flag racing. We'll let you know if anyone decides to come on towards pit road when the pit road opens in about 30 seconds time. Krosno did get himself up into 2nd place. So it's currently a Banshee Aero X 1-2 here at Milwaukee.
There is also a car between Matt Cook and Randy Krosno, and that is RaceSpot TV's very own overlay designer, Andreas Werner will. So he could play into this a little bit, because we know Andreas is fast.
Yeah, but of course, for Andy, the issue's going to be is that he's between them, but he is scored a lap down right now. So, for Andy Werner, even though he's second in line, he's going to have a fantastic restart to basically try and get back onto the lead lap. And you've got to do it the hard way here. There's no lucky dogs. This isn't NASCAR. There's no easy way around. On a single file restart, they will restart in the order that the caution came out, unless one of two things happen. We are in the last 10 laps of the race, or we're in a situation where drivers come on towards pit road, which basically means there's a car or a set of cars in front of the driver and behind the pace car.
Yeah, he just needs to get it right. On the first restart, he almost got the jump on Matt Cook. I think he was hoping Matt was going to go a little bit earlier than he did, so he just had to back off and then lost a little bit of time to Matt. He didn't get overtaken behind. Randy Shoemake had a horrible restart. He went from P2 to P4. Well, he got it all wrong, had to run the high line through turn number 1, and did not have the run that he needed, and lost 2-3 positions in the process.
2 cautions already here today. We have used about 8 minutes of the time to do 9 laps. So based upon this current progress, we'll do 120. But of course, we will get some green flag running in today. We are certain of that one. Just having a look from up above, those lights go off on top of the pace car.
Lights are indeed off on top of the pace car. Matt Cook has got to get his restart spot on, and if he can, he might be able to gap Randy Crosno, who is in second place, because he has Andy Werner between them. And if he can do that, Matt Cook is in a good position to just get some laps under his belt and start pulling out a little bit more of a gap.
So there are your top 8, bottom of your screen, as we get ourselves ready for the restart here. Second time of asking. Now, we got through turn number 1 for the most part that last time by. Let's see how these drivers will react to having 2 heat cycles on their tyres. Pace car again going to make that very late entrance on towards pit road. We're going to experience this one from the rear of Matt Cook as we come back to green flag racing. Yellow again. Saw someone falling down the screens there, and that's Marshall Stanley, another driver involved in that one as well. Okay. Slowly by slowly, we are getting there, Jack. Right, let's have a look at the replay on board Marshall Stanley, down at turn number 2.
I would say that he had the same issue as Mike Gallagher did. He just lost the rear end, and there was cars caught up in that. Unfortunately, a few people couldn't avoid him. There was the number, or who was that who got caught up? Jonathan Diggs in the number 45 was one of them. I did see a couple more. I believe it was Andrew Adair Saunders as well in the number 4 machine has been thrown off, and he actually sent, I think there was 2 more involved as that well, but that's not the way that we want to go. Caution number 3.
And Matt Molnar moved himself up into second place on that one, ahead of Randy Crosno. So we're going to take a quick break here on Racesport TV. Back with more in just a couple of moments. Third caution of the day, about to be complete here at the Milwaukee Mile. Matt Cook leads from Matt Molnar, Randy Crosno, Randy Shoemake, and Hans Pitkanen. We're good through turn number 1 this time. In towards turn number 3. And it only took 3 attempts, Jack, but we've done a lap here, green, onto lap number 17 of 225.
Everyone off to a nice and clean start there. Matt Cook getting the jumps he needed over Matt Molnar. Matt Molnar is currently holding second. They have broken away a little bit, looking a little bit further down in the pack. We've got 2 wide, 2 deep racing. One of the drivers I saw there was Lucas Laville. This is the battle, it looks like, for about P5 or P6. Andrew Aitken, Adam Shipstone going to try and go side by side into 1 and 2 this time. Andrew Aitken not going to be able to get the move done. The Talk Freak Racing driver of Adam Shipstone is going to hold his line for now, but Lucas Laville is going to want to try and move his way up the field and try and make for points lost in the rounds past. He obviously had that incident at Spa and Sebring, sorry. And in fact, Adam Shipstone makes a mistake coming off of turn number 4. Lucas Laville is going to take advantage of that one, going down to 1 and 2 this time. Lucas Laville going to move himself up into 7th place, and caution flies.
And that is Noel McBride, number 41 machine there. Replay coming up for him.
That's a new one. He got it on the curb.
Well, I've seen that happen before. And the thing is, that curb, it's not like the Indy curb. It's not as flat as the Indy curbs. If you touch it, you get a little bit of grip, and then all of a sudden, it's like, nah, I've had enough now. See you later.
Yeah, I think that's what happened for Niall there. It just looked as though he got a car on the... I mean, no damage on his car as well. It was just an innocent mistake of getting the car onto the curb, and curbs are usually your friend in racing cars, but at Milwaukee, I think Niall has just proved they're not.
Yeah, just have a look back to Adam Shipton whilst we have a moment. It's right on board of him for the corners. Well, that's not, that is Shipstone there. We're going to have a look at him. Here he is, side by side. This is coming off of turn number 4. The issue he had was on the exit of turn number 1 and 2, Jack, if memory serves me right.
Yeah, I think it was. I think Lucas Laville got the move done into 1 and 2, but it just looks as though Adam Shipstone did have a slight issue coming off of 4 on a previous lap. I'm going to go and have a look now, see if I can find it. I think it was just a case of he didn't get a good drive off the corner as Lucas Laville. Oh no, he got on the curb.
Yeah, he did. That allowed Lucas Laville to go right past him there, and Shipstone loses a position as a consequence. Now, 70 laps is what you have in terms of a fuel tank here. They're going to have done 4 heat cycles already. Anyone dare come in, or do you just hold position for as long as possible right now, Jack?
If this is the 4th heat cycle, I would probably want a new set of tyres. Or, although the fact we're already on our 4th caution, we're on lap number 21, I would say there's probably going to be more. So whatever happens, you're going to be putting through these tyres through a lot of heat cycles today, and they are already, I can see these tyres being pretty worn and pretty worse for wear. Yeah,
as we have a look though, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers all staying out. If you're towards the rear of the field, you might as well just gamble for it at this point and come in. And that's what we are going to have. A couple of people are going to come in towards the rear part of your field. Jos van der Ven, Robert Grosser, Jonathan Diggs, all on pit road. These are guys who are scored as laps down, however. They're just coming in because if they do get lucky with a caution later on, they might get one of their laps back.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a strategy move from these guys, and I mean they're trying to do this the clever ways. In fact, nice quick stop for Robert Grosser. He's already moving, and I think he might have even jumped a couple of cars in the pits there. Well,
he's up 1. Garrett is down 1. So Grosser up to 23rd. Garrett down into 24th.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I thought he might have jumped at least one person because his stop did look particularly quick. Obviously, it's not going to be a full-length stop that we're seeing at the moment because everyone is going to be... Well, the tanks are pretty much still going to be full because they've just been running on a really low fuel map so far today. Will, they've done about 3 laps of green flag racing, I think.
Yeah, yeah, about that. But the Milwaukee Mile, it is notorious for being hard to overtake on. That's the reason why, Jack, a lot of people are trying to make these passes early. 9.25 degrees of banking here, so there is more the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It's a traditional banking as well. It's another step banking, a parabolic banking. What you see is what you get. But the inside line still has more grip.
And that inside line is where everyone is going to want to be. If you get washed out to the outside, trying to make a move around there, you're going to need some good tyres, which is definitely going to be a case of who's got the better tyres to be able to make a move around the outside. If someone makes a mistake, by all means, stuff your nose down the inside and try and get the move done.
There's your top 8. Bottom of your screen. Matt Cook continues to lead the way. Keep an eye out, by the way, on Randy Krosno. He was not that good on the last restart. And maybe Randy Shoemake will be looking to try and make a pass on him as they come down towards turn number 1. Cook then given up on that outside, ultra outside line for the time being. Pace car will come on towards pit road. We are going to go back to green flag racing here at the Milwaukee Mile. Everyone gets a pretty solid restart then in towards turn number 1, too wide. You have your pack Jan Hoffman versus Dave Costello going on right now. But they come down the back straight away. And again, a poor restart by Krosno. However, Shoemake has a poor restart as well. And that means he can't close in on that number 74 car.
And Lucas Seville has managed to get, he got a great restart, managed to get his way past the car of Adam Shipstone. Lucas Seville going to move himself up into P number 7 now ahead. Andrew Aiken, Hans Pitkinen, these guys are going to be going ahead. But Matt Cook, he's got the restart that he needed. He's got a slight gap over Matt Molnar. I think it's about a second now, Will.
Yeah, there's your field. You can see they're a little bit more spread out, and that is fine. As Jan Hoffman and Andrew Wood, they'll go side by side on the exit of corner number 4. Hoffman looking for a position, having to run that outside line. And some people do need to run the outside line early, otherwise this will just become a single groove racetrack by about lap number 75. So Hoffman then in that number 05 car, not able to do anything for the time being over Andrew Wood. But to go back to Matt Cook, your race leader, he's leading, but Krosno has caught up to the rear, Matt Molnar.
He certainly has, and he's putting the pressure on Molnar. Molnar managed to get second place because Randy Krosno had a bit of a poor restart. And in fact, look at that through 3 and 4. Going to be closing up even more. Coming down to turn number 1. He's not going to be close enough, I think, to be able to make a move. All he needs to do, there you go. You can see they're running slightly different lines because the track has not been rubbered in yet. Randy Krosno going to try and go down to the inside into 3 and 4. And I think he might just be alongside. Yes, they are going to go side by side into turn number 3 and 4. I think that move might be done. Matt Molnar going to drop down to 3rd position.
Yep, Krosno up into 2nd place then. So a fantastic run by him to get back up into P number 2. But Molnar tries to go back down the inside immediately. The following corner can't do so. Jan Hoffman side by side and Mike Gerlicher down in towards turn number 1 as well. Nothing's really going to change that. Although Hoffman does like that outside line compared to most other drivers. But he's going to lose out to Team Racing Yami. Yami looking now down to the inside of Gerlicher as they come through turn number 3 and 4. Yami is charging back through the field. He's into P number 14.
Randy Shoemaker's managed to get himself past Matt Molnar as well. He is up into position number 3. The number 29 machine has not had the best restart. Well, he's already dropped 2 positions. I don't think that car is looking very stable. Everyone else ahead is running much better lines as well. Matt Molnar, I think those tyres might be starting to go on that whole full heat cycle. There you go, quick touch on the curb just to try and get the car gripped up, but not long enough to throw it sideways like we have seen.
Yeah, Shoemake then up into 3rd place. As you can see on the Race.TV replay, you can touch that curb on the inside of turn number 1 to help turn the car around. It's a technique a number of drivers have used over the year. For long part, that's actually part of the racetrack as well. So it has got a little bit of banking on it there, Jack.
It does, and Randy Shoemaker's managed to close the gap to Randy Krosno now. Randy is going to be under pressure. Oh, the 2 Randys are going to go head-to-head for position number 2, Will. And Randy Shoemaker, he has been strong, and he is one that has been ticked off to me as one to watch out for during this race.
Yeah, Shoemaker is always good on an oval. It doesn't matter what type of oval it is. Randy Krosno has had successes at the short tracks over the years here, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. But Shoemaker is hunting him down right now as they'll exit turn number 4. Lap number 33 going to be scored complete as onto 34 they go. So a nice green flag run to go now. There's Costello versus Henry Bennett. That one's going on for P number 12 on track. Costello tries the inside line, just can't hold it down there. Bennett retains P number 11.
Todd Novsad and Timo Isinjemi have just had a coming together through turn 1 and 2. He's staying green for now, but Novsad just looked like he lost the car on the inside, had a little bit of loss of grip on the rear wheels. Timo Isinjemi didn't really have anywhere to go. He didn't check up as much as he probably could have done, which would have put the car behind of Mike Gerlicher under or into the danger zone. Mike Gerlicher managed to avoid it completely, so he has kept running. All 3 cars are still going, but Todd Novsad does look like he is much slower because he has just lost out to a couple more cars there.
Yeah, and you can just see that steering wheel. It's looking as though he's having to saw that wheel right now. And we'll have a look at his last lap time compared to his best. And his best is a 22.4. Last time by back up to 23.8. Previous lap he did a 26-second lap. And he's actually not that far away from being a lap.
He's lost it again.
He's lost it again, caution.
Same thing, same place on the track. And it's just a case of those rear tyres, I think, has had one heat cycle too many there, Will. Todd had nowhere to go in that car, just very light contact with the safer barrier through turn number 2. And caution flies once again on the racetrack.
Yep, so that is caution number 5 of the day. Todd Novsad then, he was doing okay, but the thing is, when you get into a situation when you've got damage to your car, you try playing around with these in-car tools. The anti-roll bar, the weight jacket to compensate. That can work in the short term, Jack, but it's not a long-term fix. You normally do have to bring that car onto the lane.
Yeah, obviously the in-car tools can help, especially at a track like this where it's going to be changing so much over the course of the race. But I think Todd just maybe had that weight jacker and the anti-roll bar set up slightly wrong. One click out is enough to put the car on the wall, and I wonder whether that's what has happened to him. He has got damage to that car, and I would expect to see him come down onto the lane to get that repaired.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see everyone on the lane this time by. Here is Matt Cook then, exiting corner number 4. Who is going to blink out of your front runners? The answer is going to be, we might get an angle at some point. They're all coming in.
Couple of drivers are staying out, but it looks like those guys are the guys who are multiple laps down, and actually Todd Novsad has stayed out, which I'm surprised by actually.
That's why he has to wait until the next lap in order to do so. So drivers are on towards pit road. So let's see who's going to win the race off of pit road. It is going to be Cook who gets there first, then Crosno, Molnar up 1, Shoemake down 1, Hickman up 2, Aitken down 1, DeVille up 1, Shipstone, Borderway, etc. We're going to take a quick break here on Racesport TV. Back in a moment. Welcome back then to the Classic IndyCar Series, brought to you by Logical Innovative Engineering. One driver did not come on towards pit road from those on the lead lap, Jack. That is championship leader Henry Bennett.
I think Henry is banking on another caution to be able to get that strategy. He needed to get himself back up. He started 18th place. He has been making his way up through the field, but also, Will, he has made 2 pit stops already, but his tyres are 39 laps old.
Indeed so. And the thing for Bennett is, if you're out front, there's a good chance you're not going to be involved in the cautions as and when they happen. Here we are then, getting set for the restart. 41 laps of 2:25. Going to be score complete. Let's go on board with Bennett. Three wide down in your mid-pack there, Jack.
Yeah, everyone having a good old scrap in the mid-pack. Henry Bennett, nice clean start from him. What he needed to do coming down into turn number 1. Lucas Seville, Andrew Aitken are going to go side by side. Even further ahead, there is battling going on. Randy Shoemake, Randy Crosno, Matt Molnar, Matt Cook. These guys are all running in one big pack at the moment. Looking like they're going to try and go too wide, too deep, but not going to be able to get it done. So they're just going to go line astern to turn number 3 and 4. Looks as though Randy Crosnow's got on that curb through 3 and 4. Will, he's got that car slightly sideways. The number 3 of Randy Shoemaker is going to make his way around, try and go running outside through 1 and 2. Randy Crosno is going to have to defend, while Matt Cook is making his way past some lap traffic in the form of Jos van der Ven.
Yeah, as they'll then work themselves on in conclusion on lap number 43. Look at the gap that Henry Bennett has already. 2.8 seconds over Matt Cook. That's insane.
Yeah, Henry Bennett was quite lucky because he has quite a lot of lap traffic between himself and Matt, which has been able to let him just extend out the gap, because Matt Cook was probably held up by a few of them just getting on the power coming off of the restart. Matt Cook still has the fastest lap of the race at 21.976. No one else, as far as I can see, has broken into the 21s so far, but I would expect once drivers get a new set of tyres on and the track starts to get rubbered in a little bit, times might start to drop.
Yeah, you can visit racebot.tv/live if you'd like to keep up with your favourite drivers. Different websites to normal. Racebot.tv/live for Racebot TV, live timing and scoring. A lot happening on track. I want to check in with Lucas Seville right now. Number 2 machine, because he's had some very good passes here today already, Jack, and he's now got Hans Picken and Andrew Aitken, Randy Shoemake and Randy Crosno in his sights.
He does, and they're all running nice and line astern for Lucas to just pick them off one by one. Lap traffic up high through 3 and 4. I believe that is in the form of Andrew Adair Saunders. It is indeed so. Andrew doing the nice thing and getting out of the way for the faster drivers. That's all he needs to do, is everyone else just ducks down to the inside to try and get the way past. But Lucas Seville, he started 19th, Will. He's already up to 8th position, so he is using these cautions and this green flag running to his advantage to just pick the drivers off he needs to get his way up. He's going to be hindered a little bit coming out 4 because he has Andrew Adair Saunders on his outside. Yeah,
and Nell McBride was trying to make a pass over Sasha Lamb, just run up behind number 25 machine, who was trying to put a lap down. That's Marshall Stanley. McBride has remained in 7th place, and we've got trouble on track. Adam Shipstone turn around, big trouble on track. Replay on board of Shipstone. Oh, this is it. Going 3 wide in towards turn number 1.
It just looks as though he lost it on his own, and, well, Mike Gerlicher hasn't had a good day so far today, Will. I think he was one of the drivers caught up in that one as well. David Costello, one of the 4X Racing drivers, yeah, I think he turned his IndyCar into an aeroplane there.
The thing is that Shipstone was running 3 wide on the inside. It can be really hard when you've got a tight radius to keep that one going. Shipstone just couldn't make it work. As a consequence, we are under yellow for number 6 here today.
Yeah, it just looks as though Adam Shipstone used 1 or 2% too much throttle, and it is so sensitive in these Indy cars if you do that. There was also another driver caught up in that. It was Niall McBride again. He's really not having a good day today, Will.
He's not, no. As we will take a quick break, we'll be back in a second. Round number 7 of the Classic IndyCar Series will be here in 2 weeks' time on the street of Detroit. Belle Isle will be our host. One of the first races you'll see in any IndyCar, only on the Classic IndyCar Series. Here comes Bennett, ready for the restart. Exit of corner number 4, he will come then. Pace car on towards pit road. And we go green once again, Jack.
Yep, everyone back to green. Henry Bennett getting a good start. Everyone else nice and clean off of the start. No, I can't see any trouble so far throughout your field. A little bit of battling in the mid-pack. Almost 3 wide. Lucas Seville, I think, trying to get himself up some more positions. But Hans Pickering going to try and get a run. Well, actually, that's on a back marker, I think. Actually, no, that's Randy Shoemake. So Andrew Aikens has managed to get his way past Randy Shoemake. Further up ahead, Matt Molnar, Randy Krosno are getting around lap traffic in the form of, I believe, that must be Robert Grosson, the number 1 machine. Yeah, it's very packed out here. And actually, as you have a look, we're on board of Matt Molnar. There's lap traffic ahead of these guys as well. Krosno is 4 tenths per second behind Matt Cook. Hitting the curb a little bit there was Matt Molnar in that number 29 machine. Down the rear of your field as well. They're going 3 wide for an entire lap between lap down drivers and drivers racing for position. Yeah, it just looks as though there's a couple of side-by-side positions going through. Carson Brov, we're going to try and get past Lucas Laville. Carson trying to go around the outside through number 3 and 4. Just doesn't want to make it 3 wide. Robert Gross is sitting up on the high line. Robert Gross is just going to let them go. Nice and sensible from Robert. Carson Brov, we're going to try and go down to the inside. And Lucas Laville into 1 and 2. Lucas has been left on that high line where he is going to struggle. He's going to wash up high, almost getting that number 2 machine into the wall. Who has managed to hold onto the position for now. Coming into 3 and 4, Carson Broadway has got to get this perfect to be able to hold on to this or to get this position. I think he might have done it. It's still a drag race, Will. Yeah, 2 wide, 2 deep then here at Milwaukee. You've got Team Racing Miami battling it out with one driver. That is the driver of Andrew Wood. Lucas Laville, though, continues his battle with Carson Broadway right now. The thing is, once you settle down into a river here at Milwaukee, you've got yourself, I'd argue, about 10 to 15 laps to make those passes. Otherwise, they start to get really difficult. Going to ride on board with Andrew Aiken. He's a silent master around this racetrack, Jack. He is, and he's showing that today, running P number 5 behind Matt Molnar. He's going to try and look down to the inside and stand number 3 on Matt. He's not going to be able to get the move done. This brings Randy Shoemake back into the equation. Might be able to get Andrew Aitken on the exit. Number 27 machine looking like he got a little bit loose. So Randy Shoemake down to the inside into turn number 1, having to check up to avoid that number 21 machine of Matt Molnar. Matt Molnar almost getting up into the wall on the exit of 2 there, Will. But Andrew Aitken, he is a master of this place, and he's showing that today. Yeah, Randy Shoemake then, we're having a look between himself and Matt Molnar. It's 1 tenth of a second, but as these two start to battle, we have Randy Krosno pulling away now. The gap is 1.5 seconds between the 2 of them. And Randy Krosno and Matt Molnar have separated out. And let's have a look at the lap gaps there. And this is the issue when you do run 2 wide at Milwaukee. You start losing time very, very quickly. Yeah, and I think obviously running that high line is going to cost you time. You do have to run slightly further around the racetrack. Probably going to be edging towards that IndyCar Racing League and track length of just that little bit longer, but it is going to slow you down because you cannot take as much speed off the corners. Randy Shoemake is going to look down to the inside on Matt Molnar. I think might get we've got a yellow, and that is for the 058 stopped at turn number 2. Davis Costello is in the crash barriers. Yep, so let's have a replay then on board with Costello. Dimple losing it there at turn number 2, and that's what's going to happen if you do not keep on top of your tools in your car. That is, and I think Costello just lost that rear end. Turn 2 strikes again. Not sure why everyone's having so much trouble with that corner at the moment, but that car was in a slide, and I think he didn't notice it. Obviously, going from a slide from 150 miles an hour, you haven't got much time to save it, Will, and the walls are very close here. There isn't much runoff for you to save it because of how small this track is. Yep, so pit road is open. Bennett is staying out again. He has run 64 laps on this stint, however. We have got Matt Cook on pit road, Randy Krosno on pit road, a lot of other people. Hans Pickenon's now playing the game of
I'm going to stay on track. Andrew Wood is going to do the same.
Yeah, Hans Picken and Andrew Wood have only got 25 lap old tyres compared to the tyres that Henry Bennett has got, which are now 61 laps old. They have been through now 5, I think this might be those tyres' 6th heat cycle, Will, or 5th heat cycle, so they're going to be worn, and also Henry Bennett is going to be coming down to the final drops of his fuel tank very soon.
Yeah, this will actually be his 7th heat cycle he's going to go into, at least, here at Milwaukee, so he's going to have some fun. There's the race off pit road, of course. Hook leads it, then Krosno comes out behind him. Shoemake comes down a few positions. Molnar, Aitken, Broadway, Laville, etc. 64. This is now going to be a timed race, of course, Jack. Quite obviously, it will be a timed race from here on in.
Yeah, it definitely will. We've elapsed about 40 minutes of this race. We've just about made it to, I would say, 25% through, Will, so I wouldn't expect to see this race go to the full distance. The drivers now need to be getting their strategy right so that they can make 2 hours, and make 2 hours so that you cross that line with the minimum amount of fuel in your car as possible to make the minimum amount of stops. Every second you spend on pit road is a second you've lost doing 160, 170 miles an hour out on the racetrack.
Yeah, but also it's worth noting that if the race goes green from now to the end of the time limit, then you're going to have to make a green flag pit stop. So you've got to be either ultra aggressive or ultra conservative. You cannot do a midway house. And I always see, Jack, people trying to go from the middle option, it just won't work.
Yeah, obviously green flag pit stops are going to be a problem here because you will lose at least 1 lap in doing so. And if you have a caution, so if you do a green lap pit stop and then, or green flag pit stop, sorry, and then you have a caution, that could play into some drivers' hands who haven't made a pit stop. So Henry Bennett is actually running the risk now of having to do a green flag pit stop. I hope that we could see another caution so that he can get down onto the lane, get that service done. Lights out on the iRacing pace car, which means we will be going green next time by.
Indeed so. So we are going to bring you back to green flag racing in just 1 moment's time. And as we do so, we're going to bring you a little bit of RaceBot TV fan immersion. Good restart. Lap number 69. Look at the bottleneck ahead of Randy Krosno there, Jack.
Yeah, I was watching Randy Krosno on the start. He got an absolutely mega restart. Actually, I think it was Randy Shoemake. I think he did 2 cars on 1 lap there, Will. He just got the jump he needed, but they're going to go 3 wide into turn number 1 and 2. Matt Molnar, Matt Cookham. I think that's a back marker, actually, Will, because Mike Gerlicher is a little bit up the field. They're going to go 3 wide almost coming out of turn number 2. Here comes Randy Shoemake, going to get Randy outside of Matt I think that might be it's actually a little bit of contact up ahead, I think.
Yeah, that is Randy Krosno and Randy Shoemake then on the exit of corner number 4. We have got a couple of technical issues for one driver right now, which is why you've just seen some random stuff. But Shoemake has gotten past Krosno. Krosno's car is not working with this lap traffic.
No, he's struggling in the traffic. The number 74 machine does not look as good as you think it would. He's going to try and go down to the inside of a back marker. That is going to be Jos van der Ven in the 167. Jos has been down onto the pit lane a few times now. He has been made 5 pit stops, the most out of any driver, tied with Andrew Dessel. So that one driver who did lose out on that restart well was Lucas Leville. He came down when the lights went off on the iRacing pace car, and that just hindered him a little bit. He is now 1 lap down.
Yeah, battle for your race lead. Henry Bennett leads over Andrew Wood by 1.4 seconds. So a great restart then for Henry Bennett in that 007 machine. And, well, he's now, get this already, 4.4 seconds ahead of Veseyur Olja and 5.2 seconds ahead of Matt Cook. That's incredible.
I think because you've got such a big sort of gaggle of cars all battling it out. Well, it's just let Andrew and Henry get away with it. In fact, they're going to go toe wide into turn 1. Almost contact between Matt Cook and the number 45 machine of Jonathan Diggs. Jonathan Diggs is lapped down. They're going to go 3 wide, almost 4 wide. Randy Shoemaker deciding that's probably not the sensible idea at Milwaukee. He's just going to duck out of that one, but they are going to go 3 wide. Jonathan Diggs getting involved in the leader's scrap. He must be having a whale of a time out there in the 45 machine, Will.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I know we're going too wide right now, Randy Crosno and Matt Molnar, but I need to show you this one again from Randy Crosno's perspective, because this is absolutely insane to watch. Here we are. This was coming on to lap number 153. Not 153 even, the last lap. But look at this. He catches 2 drivers at once. They